Hey, welcome back to the channel. Hopefully the lighting is not gonna be that bad, but today's topic is solving one-step equations. We have at least three examples that's written on the whiteboard for you. I actually did the first one already. But before we go over any of the examples, let me go ahead and talk about what are equations. Okay, so let me go ahead and switch it up. So what is an equation? Well, an equation basically means that the left and right side of the problem are equal in value. That's what it means. That's what it's called equate. Okay, so the left and the right side of the equal sign should be the same. Okay, that's what it means. Now, going back to the topic, solving one-step equations, what does that truly mean and what are we supposed to do? So when we say solve, that means we're going to find out the value of a variable. A variable is always going to be listed as um, a letter, okay? Whether it be an X, an a B, you name it, as long as it's a letter, it's given as a variable, okay? Again, as long as it's a letter, it is deemed as a variable when it comes to any type of equations. One step also means that in order for us to actually solve for the variable, all we have to do is do one thing, okay? And then once that's done, then we can truly show you that the left and the right side are truly equal. So what do I mean by those? Well, let's go ahead and go to the first example. If you remember, the first example is x plus 7 equals 11. Okay, so I listed the step for you. So if you remember, it's called solving one-step equations. So it only requires one step. So the moment I listed as step one, that's about it. Okay, we should be getting the value of the variable, which is, for this example, it's the letter x. So what do we do? Well, we're supposed to isolate the variable x by moving the 7 to the other side of the equation. I'm going to show you that a bit more on the other examples. I just wanted to go ahead and show you every step that I've done on the first one so that you can see something visual. So if you remember, it's x plus 7 equals 11. In order for us to move the 7 to the other side, we must also go opposite what the 7 is doing to the x. So the 7 is adding to the x. So therefore, once we try to move it to the other side of the equation, we're supposed to subtract 7 on both sides. Okay, remember, it's plus 7. So therefore, the opposite is minus 7 on both sides. Once we have done that, I'm going to show you real quick what happens, okay? Well, what happens there is that once the 7 is subtracted, then the x is by itself on the left side, and the right side becomes 4. So 11 minus 7 is 4. Again, if you're a bit confused, on the left side, the reason why the x is by itself, because 7 minus 7 is 0. So therefore, it completely disappeared on us. And our final answer for this solving one-step equation is x equals 4. Now, if you remember what I said earlier, I said solving one-step equations basically means that we are going to show you at the very end that the left and the right side are supposed to be the same. So if you can view the actual board that I have in front of you, if you remember, x equals 4 was our final answer. All you have to do is basically change that x into what it was or what it is now, and that is a 4. Okay, so 4 plus 7 equals 11. And if you remember, on the other side, it's already 11. So on the very bottom, 11 equals 11. And if that is true, then this is the right answer. X equals 4 is the correct and final answer because we have shown you that the left and the right side are truly equal in value. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the other examples that's on the actual board earlier. Let me just go ahead and show you that real quick, okay? Just for you to remember the different examples we have. There it is, okay? And I'm gonna come back in a few seconds, and then we're gonna work on the second and the third one together. right, guys, so on the second example, if you're looking at it, it's 7x equals 28. So let me go ahead and grab a clean whiteboard for you and simply write down 7x equals 28, just like that, okay? And if you're a bit confused, you can also make that x a bit bigger if you like, okay? So unlike the first example, I'm gonna go ahead and flip it over again. Unlike the first example, if you remember, it's x plus 7 equals 11. The first step that we did was we deducted 7 from both sides. So we subtracted 7 both sides. And the reason for that is because the 7 was adding to the x. Now this is a bit different on the second example. This time the 7 is right next to the x. So therefore the 7 is multiplying with the x. So the opposite of multiplication is division, and that's step 1. Again, that's the only step that we're going to do. In order for us to isolate the x, we must divide both sides by 7, just like that, okay? And if you can tell, the 7 now disappears, okay? Or it becomes 1x, which is the same thing as x. So we bring down the x here. And if you're doing the math, 28 divided by 7 is 4. So therefore, our final answer is x equals 4. Okay? Now, let me go ahead and turn it over to another whiteboard. And we're going to double check our answers and see if it's truly right. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and go 7. Our original problem was 7x equals 28. And if you remember, x became 4, or at least we solved for x, which was 4, okay? Let's go ahead and plug that in. Okay, so we now have x as 4, and since it's being multiplied to the 7, we're just gonna go ahead and put the open, close parentheses, and put the 7 in front of it, okay? So again, that's 4 being multiplied to 7. And 7 times 4 is 28. We bring down the right side. And as you can see, our final answer is truly right, because if we double checked our work and we plugged in the value of the x as 4, we ended up having 28 on the left side and also 28 on the right side. So this basically proves that x is truly 4. Let me go ahead and switch up to the third and last example that we have. If you remembered, it was x minus 4 equals 12. Now, I'm just going to remind you, okay, the very first example we had was x plus 7 equals 11, okay? Let me go ahead and bring it back here. If you remember that, x plus 7 equals 11. And what we did was we actually took out the 7 on both sides, right? Now, this is a bit different, okay? If you can tell, this is x minus 4. Again, that's x minus 4 equals 12. So the opposite of minus 4 is plus 4. So we're going to go ahead and add 4 on both sides, okay? Now, when we say both sides, my suggestion for every parent and every student out there is to actually divide, okay, or cut in half your equation from its two sides, okay? And the way we cut it in half is we just simply draw a line, okay, that cuts across the equal sign, okay? So this entire thing here is your left side. This entire thing here is your right side, all right? So minus 4 plus 4, okay? Again, negative 4, positive 4 equals 0. So therefore, that's gone, okay? And we simply bring down what's left on the right side, on the left side, sorry, and that's x. And then we're going to compute what's on the right side, okay? 12 plus 4, if you did the math, then you would have gotten 16. Okay, so x equals 16. Now, again, we want to make sure that our final answer is correct, okay? So our final answer was x equals 16, okay? Now, our original problem was x minus 4, okay, equals 12. Now, all we have to do is plug in the x as 16, because we got x equals 16. So instead of writing x, we are now going to write its value, which is 16. And then we bring down the minus 4, bring down the equal sign, bring down the 12, okay? So if this is still the left and right side of the equation, just like that, all right? What is 16 minus 4? So 16 minus 4 ends up being 12. Now bring down the equal sign and bring down the value on the right side. And if x truly is 16, then the left and the right value, okay, or the left side of the equal sign and the right side of the equal sign must be exactly the same. 12 on the left, 12 on the right, so therefore x is truly 16. Again, if there's any topics in math that you would like me to go over with you, all you have to do is simply go on the actual email address that I showed you earlier. I'm going to go ahead and flash it on the actual screen. Go to this email address, easy AAA101@gmail.com. Let me know exactly the topics that you want me to go over. Email me that. Please do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Once I have viewed that your request, I'm going to go ahead and make that video for you. And then you're going to get a notification and you're going to see that video. And hopefully that helps you get that easy A. I'll see you next time.